Hi, this is Sukheja, your deal and business architect, and your host at So True Business.
We call ourselves deal architects. No longer do we call ourselves bankers or consultants. So what we do is we structure the deal right from the outset, beginning from when somebody approaches us, whether it's a SME looking to raise venture capital or angel investors or seed A or Series B or whatever it may be, up to the extent that, and we specialize both in equity and debt. We do almost every sector. Because our specialization is in understanding capital, not the business itself. And we do a deep dive into the business, we understand the needs, we understand the responsibility associated. And we have a reach because I've been working globally all over my life. And so we have the reach to reach the right investor and probably, spin that deal off the board and help the corporate or the company raise capital. Now, having said that, one of the most important things that I've seen which is missing in raising capital is not the capital itself or the insufficiency of capital, but rather the structuring of it. Most of the startups do not know how to structure their capital, and if your structuring isn't correct, you are never going to raise capital. And this is fundamentally the whole problem that I see almost on a daily basis. Expectations are very high, demands are high, valuations are absurd. Everybody talks about cash burn nowadays. I don't even know what that means, to be honest. Okay, you just take in money, you burn money, you get new subscribers, you give discounts, you make losses, and then you go back to the public, raise more money, and you raise a valuation. How? How in God's name does that make sense to anyone? But it happens. Yeah, and that's a trend, I guess, but it's a deteriorating trend. Let me tell you, serious investors have woken up to this, and now it's no longer being taken as lightly as it was earlier. So, this is a serious side of the business. I will give you a funny upside to this. There's a small story I will tell you. It's not very true, the story, but of course it's a story, as I said. So there was this investor who wanted to invest in a brilliant idea. And he says, he tells his secretary, he says, hey listen, let's get a resort in place, a beautiful resort somewhere. And I want to cut $1 million check to a startup who makes me happy, who makes me believe that there's a great idea that I can fund. But I'm not looking at ideas, I'm looking at courage. So I want to place $1 million. I wanted to do it in a place which is fancy, beautiful, 5-star. So they do a research, they bring about a 40-50 list of startups to that particular place. And those people land in an island somewhere. They are escorted, beautiful house, beautiful place, villas, pool, everything, the works. And all the startups are very excited that who's going to get this $1 million check. And later on, the next day, they meet at the poolside. Now the pool is a huge pool with a center platform. And there's a ramp that leads to the platform. And all these startups, they are put in the center. And then the ramp is withdrawn. Now he says, the investor comes and says, hey guys, thank you for coming here. It's been nice meeting all of you. I've heard your pitches. But the pitch is not going to decide who I'm going to pay. Your courage is going to decide that. And he says, listen, the one who swims across the pool comes to me, reaches me first, gets a check. That's it, simple. But, there's always a but, right? But the the pool is full of sharks. So, who's the guy who's going to do it? Who's the person who's going to do it? And before he could finish his sentence, there's a splash. And someone is frantically swimming across. And someone actually makes it across and reaches the other shore. And he comes out dripping wet. And the investor's stunned. The people are stunned. Which idiot is this who has actually jumped into a pool of sharks for $1 million? I mean, 1 million क्या करोगे जब जियोगे नहीं तो? The question is, what would you do with $1 million if you don't survive? So, he reaches the end of the show and he says sheepishly, sir, we make shark repellents. So that's opportunity. Luck favors opportunity. Hard work favors luck. So there's no such thing as saying that, hey, look, I can't do this, or I cannot do this, or I can do this. The simple matter is, if you have courage, you have the will, you have the resilience, you will get there no matter what. So at that note, I end this little speech